Hello friends. Okay, we are here for yet another monthly book journal video, and this month we are doing April, and let me tell you, I read 37 books, so you can probably see by the length of this video, get a drink, buckle up, it's gonna be a long one. First things first, I have not, I don't think, updated my Afterlight in a while, my Afterlight tracker. I need to do that. I was waiting for the picture of the, because it's like an alternative cover, I was waiting for that to be visible, I was waiting to be able to see that online, and this one for January, February, March, April. March is, what is wrong with me? The March book, fan service, came out late. So I was waiting for that, like the graphic of it, like the digital picture of that cover to be on Goodreads. And now I am waiting for Flirting Lessons, which was the April book. I have put in my book of the months, and I have a couple of countries that I'm gonna add here really quick. We have got Australia. It's also a red, white, blue country, so we have that. We have Mexico, which I did green because I feel like I've done a lot of red. We have Antarctica, which is a light blue. And we have got Singapore, which I believe was like red and white, and so I just did silver because again, we have so much red in here. So I think that that is super duper cute. With that being said, we will go to our next available page, and for April I am doing a super fun pastel rainbow vibes, and I'm very excited about it because pastel rainbow is one of my favorite foil colors. And at the time you were watching this, all book journaling stickers are on sale for 25% off. So check it out, get the goods. And I recently released what I am calling the journaling bundle. So it comes with a bunch of goodies that will be perfect for doing a spread in your book journal and makes things a little bit easier. And it's at like a discounted price if you do the bundle. So what I am personally using, I have my April Reads. I had a couple of different pastel rainbow dividers. I already had these on deck. We have our stars, we have some sparkly deco, that deco, we have got our flowers, we've got all of our trackers and our tracker fill-ins, the rest of our headers for the end. But we're just gonna jump into it because something tells me that we're gonna be here for quite some time. So I'm just gonna throw in April Reads, which you can get headers of whatever month you want in whatever foil you want in the shop. Right now, mine was like a little bit of an oops, but my issue is when I'm making stickers for myself, I already feel like I'm wasting all of my supplies because supplies are so expensive. So when I oops something for myself, or sometimes when I oops something for a customer, I'll just take it for myself because we're not wasteful around these parts. So I am just going to throw in some cute little floral bits from the flower sheet, and I will need some skizzies. Don't miss. Ja. Also, my friend asked me if I was worried of like I was gonna run out of pages in my journal, and the only pro of this being numbered, the pages, I'm over 1/4 of the way into the year, and there's 250 pages in this book and I'm only on page 50, so I don't foresee it being an issue for me, thankfully. Then I will just throw in some of like the smaller little bits from here, could be cute. As well as I do have these little twinkly doodads. The thing about using rainbows, you can't use all the ones next, like in a row, because otherwise you're gonna get just like a bunch of the same color next to each other. So you wanna just kind of grab them sporadically. But I read so many books. The last video you guys would have seen would have been my wrap up. How many books did you read in April? This was like my all-time high. I can guarantee you we are never ever doing that again. Oh, I also need to pull up Goodreads. I have my mouse. My computer's so far away. But hopefully this works. Okay. Nope. Profile. Red. Like 40 on a page. Hopefully that'll get us where we need to be. Nope. 50 on a page. Will that get us where we need to be? That should work. That should do. That's the tech. Okay. So, if you are unaware, one thing that I do, like I said, own a sticker shop, and I make super cute I have like so many infinite options of these deco sheets in the shop. I'm trying to decide if it looks better with or without this lamp. I feel like that's too dark because it's so freaking dark outside. Anyhow, so I go through and I make a sheet that goes along and is color coded to match every book that I read. Then I do sell these, which are custom book stickers. I do ones that are just the cover that you can have formatted to whatever size you want, or I do ones where it's the whole book including the spine, and the spine will be color coded to match the book. You can get them 1 on a sheet, 4 on a sheet, 8 on a sheet, or 10 on a sheet, and the bigger quantity on the sheet, the like price per book goes down, if that makes sense. So like it's more cost effective to do the 10 books. So I have all of those ready. We do custom book quotes, and you can get them formatted to whatever size you want. You just let me know what size you want them to be, and then I will put them on a sheet. We will be seeing those very present in this video, and then I will be using some journaling boxes from my bestie girl Andrea's shop, and then I made all of my like decorative bits. So first things first, I actually don't know that this is going to be enough dividers, but we will figure it out if that's the case. The first book that I read, this book was Fun for the Whole Family. So what I am gonna do is I am going to put a divider here in the middle-ish. Very cute. And I read Fun for the Whole Family by Jennifer E. Smith. I read this as an ARC. And I do have a video of me reading ARCs, and that would be where you can find all my deep thoughts and feelings on that book. I am just going to find my quote for it. I personally just did mine individually because I was fitting them on like where I could nonsense. So we are going to use box version 3 from Scribble Prints Co. And then for this book, I did the travel deco in blue tie-dye. And this book is essentially about this family. Fun for the Whole Family. And there's 4 siblings. One of them is an actress. One of them lives like a very normal life. One of them's a divorced author. And the other one is like a professional soccer player, I believe. And they have had a very strained relationship with their mom their entire life. She was present but not present at the same time, if that makes sense. She was kind of like in and out of their lives, and she would only come around during the summertime and take them on these trips and then kind of disappear again until eventually some sort of tragedy happens and the dad forbids her from seeing the kids. Then the mom passes away, and the dad passes away, and their relationship is just very strained. One of the sisters calls them and asks them, hey, can you come to North Dakota? And they all show up, and she has some secrets that she needs to get off of her chest. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was quite good. I really enjoyed it. Oh, that's why I'm like, why does it feel like there's not a lot of stuff? So I am actually going to be pulling this up. The star rating thing, like the empty part is from my girl Andrea's shop, and then the stars to fill it in are from my shop. We're gonna pop in our maps. Basically, when they were a kid, their mom would get a map and they would put push pins in it for all of the places they would visit. So we'll do that. There's this whole part of the book that does involve a cabin. So I'm gonna pop the cabin in there as well. And then I do have the push pins. Some push pins here. Got a couple of different colors and sizes. I'm not gonna use all of them. And then we will pop in the foiled travel deco while I read you the quote that I selected for this book. Before you look, I feel like I need to say what I know. Whoa. Before you look, I just feel like I need to say what I know that, whoa, what is wrong with me? Before you look, I need to say that I know that it wasn't fair how much you had to do for us when we were kids, but also I don't know how we would have survived without you. Ugh, this literally, the beginning of the book was a little bit slow, which is why I gave it 4 stars and not 5 stars, but it literally was so emotional. These stories and how like they fell apart and what caused the rift between all of them. It was really heartbreaking, but it was quite a good book. It's out now. I did read it as an ARC, but you can now pick it up. The next book that I read, which was in I actually don't remember what video this was in. Maybe a finishing my TBR video. It doesn't really matter. The book sucked. And it was this, which is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. I was not. I did not. Or it's Say You Still Love Me. I think I put the wrong quote on here. That's her name. But it was not very good, honestly. I loved the author K.A. Tucker. I loved, and I mean loved, the Simple Wild series. I gave every book in that 4 or 5 stars. So I was so excited to read this book, and so I was completely bamboozled to give it 2 stars. It's basically about this girl. Her name, couldn't tell ya. And she essentially met this boy at a summer camp. Her family is mega rich. They own like some real estate. They're in real estate is how like her family is so wealthy. And they essentially sent her to like this summer camp as a kid, and it's like normal people, like not rich people summer camp, because her mom did not grow up rich and she wanted her daughter to like have some semblance of normal. So they sent her to this summer camp where she meets this boy, and they're literally together. I'm not exaggerating, at the summer camp for like a month. And now it's like over 10 years later and she's still hung up on him, and she ends up finding out that he is working as a security guard for one of her dad's buildings, and it's like this second chance romance. But it was just so corny to me, because to me, I'm like, how are you still hung up on this guy when it's literally been 10 years and you knew him for a month? And yeah, so I just thought it was really cringy and I did not like it. So I gave it 2 stars, but you know, that's fine. I'm using the camping deco. There was also 2 timelines, a then and now. The then timeline was at the summer camp, and then the now timeline was her present day working at her dad's company, constantly being treated like shit because she's a woman. And I just feel like that was like, yes, relatable, but like, given the state of the USA, it was just like I didn't really want to be like reading about that. And so she was constantly being undermined because she is a woman and her dad owns the company, even though she was very good at her job. And it was just not good. I don't recommend. I don't want to read it. It makes me scared that maybe the Simple Wild series was just like one-hit wonder for me, which would be really devastating. But that was the second book we read, and it was 2 stars. Oh, okay. The next one, we're gonna do another split down the middle because these next 2 books can go here. No. No, 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 no. Okay, that's not gonna be for me. Okay. So the next book is gonna be, it was in my book scavenger hunt video, and it is Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. I think I'm saying that right. If I am not, please, for the love of God, let me know, because I don't like saying things wrong. But I thought this book was not good. Not good at all. It really was not good at all, if you ask me. So in this book, we have our main character, and the premise is so good. Essentially, she has some sort of ability. They don't really understand how it works, for when she touches people, like something bad happens. They experience severe pain and possibly death. And so they have her locked up until they decide they want to use her as a weapon. And it's YA, and obviously, well, not obviously, but all of those things are like so interesting to me. It's a dystopian book. I love dystopian. This is like a dungeon cell because that's where they were holding her. But my issue with this book lies within the fact that it's YA and there's like this romance aspect to it. And I just found the romance part literally unbearable. It was so corny, so cringy, and I'm like, you guys are literally about to die. I'm not sure why you're so concerned with how cute he is. And that's just me. I just didn't get it. I just could not get past it, and I gave it 3 stars. I don't think I'm going to continue in the series unless somebody is like, yes, girl, the corny YA romance like isn't as severe later on in the book, then maybe I will continue. But like with what I had like experienced, I currently have no issue, or I currently have no desire to continue. I'm putting in some birds because they were like a big part of the book, and then raindrops. Because there's an eye on the cover of the book, they're definitely giving teardrops, but just know that they're meant as raindrops. And then for my deco from my shop, I'm just using some blue stars. Probably not going to use the humongous ones, but I couldn't think of anything like specific to the book that would make sense. So I was like, stars work. Stars definitely work. Why not? In like a pretty blue cover. It's another thing that makes me so sad is like the special editions of these books are so good and so pretty, and I'm just like, ugh, so mad that I didn't like it. The next book is another 3-star, and it was also kind of a disappointment to me. That's Such Quiet Girls by Noelle Eiley. The only book I've like read prior to this by Noelle is Ask for Andrea, but I was literally freaking obsessed with that book. Like, it gave me heart palpitations. Loved it. And so to not love this book and to only give it 3 stars is really irritating to me. Oh, the quote I picked for this is, I think I forgot. The quote I picked for this one is, "You remembered." Of course I did. I remembered everything. And this one is, "All I ever wanted was to reach out and touch another human being with another human being, not just with my hands, but with my heart." And then my quote for Such Quiet Girls is, "I accept my past, understand my present, and look forward to my future." But I'm gonna put on this little notebook. But basically, this book, I've been just like low-key, high-key, low-key, falling a little bit out of love with thrillers recently, because every book that I read that is like marketing itself as a thriller is simply just a mystery. And like, I don't live, laugh, love a mystery. Like, I want the like, my heart's in my throat, anxiety-filled feelings of a real, true thriller. And that's just not what I'm getting from these books, and it's pissing me off. But essentially, this book is about this cast of characters. There's 4 points of views. There's the bus driver, Gemma, I think is her name, or Jenna or Gemma, one of the two. And then we do have the point of view of one of the kids on the bus, and the kid on the bus's mom, and one of the bad guys. And basically, the bus driver, you know that like something happened, and she's like lying about her past to have this job as a bus driver. And she like transports kids between like school and like their after school program. So she's bringing them to the after school program. There's a detour in the road, so she's going a different way. The detour was a trap, and the bus gets like hijacked, and they get taken to this underground bunker until they get found. But it's mainly like a mystery because the bad guy whose point of view you're in, I'm going to be using the mystery thriller deco from my shop in Carmel. The point of view of the bad guy that you're like reading from is like, he's like obviously like a bad guy, but he doesn't want to be bad, and he's like giving them food and blah blah blah. But it was just like very boring. I distinctly remember reading this at my like hair appointment, and it is in my reading arcs video, but it was very, very slow, and I think it suffered from the amounts of points of views that we were getting, which is not something I usually feel. I tend to love a multi-POV book. I mean, I still do, but I just, in this one, I so desperately, Sage was the girl, like the student on the bus. I so desperately only cared about Sage's point of view. Like when we were in the bus driver's point of view, I was getting pissed off. When we were in the mom's point of view, I was getting pissed off. When we were in the bad guy's point of view, I was getting pissed off. So the only time I was live, laugh, loving was when we were in Sage's point of view, which was only 1/4 of the book. So due to that, I gave it 3 stars. Okay, guys, we're moving into our first 5-star of the month, and I like have to go through all my quotes because I don't know where the quotes are for this specific book. I don't remember how many I had. I think it was 3, but I'm just going to check. Basically, all of the books that I gave 5 stars, I did more than 1 quote. So, for the most part. So I just want to like make sure that I have everything for this book. I think that this is everything. Yeah. Okay, so we need to grab these sized sheets. I need V5 and V6. Should be easy actually. I think one of these might fit better on version 3. We'll give that a try. Pull that out. Version 5 is like the same length, it's just thicker. So pull all this out. And so this book is John Stamos' autobiography. And you may be thinking, how good could it be? It's so good. It is so good. As a John Stamos stan, a lover of him as a person, I love Full House. I loved the show that he was on the Disney Channel called, or not Disney Channel, on Disney Plus, called Big Shot. Like, I just love him. So this book, obviously it's his memoir. I listened to the audiobook. It was narrated by him. It brought me to tears. And the quotes that I picked was, the past looms large and losses leave great voids in the heart. It's nice to be reminded of those we've loved in small, spirited ways that don't overwhelm us. Love that. Then I had this one that says, the message becomes clear. Take it. take it easy on yourself, have patience, forgive, be merciful, ... have mercy. And, you know, if you're a Full House person, you know. If you know, you know. And I know. I'm in the know. And then the last one I have is, if you get a chance to sit for a spell with someone you love, don't get up too quickly. Stay a while, linger, indulge, savor, and order the cake. It's just like a lot of the book was like about taking life as it is and just enjoying the people you have while you have them, because you never know where life's gonna take them or you. And so I have a picture of him as being Blackie on General Hospital. We got a hummingbird. He loves Disneyland. And then we have some things from Full House. So I'm just gonna start like piecing these things in. We're gonna start with that up there because that was like his early work, you know. Then, where do I want to put our quotes? Maybe I do this, like kind of up here, like that. That works, that works. And then we can grab a good old Uncle Jay. And we can grab the Disneyland stuff here. Add another quote here. Oh my god, this looks so cute. So cute. So cute. Live, laugh, loving it. I have this of like the guys from Full House. We've got Jesse and Michelle being cutie pie honey bunches. And we can pop this quote on here. Oh my god, I'm loving it. It's looking so cute. So cute. And then the hummingbird will fit perfectly here. Y'all, tell me that doesn't look amazing. OMG, I love it. So then I just need to figure out where I want to put the star rating, which I think I'm just going to pop in here. And again, we did give this 5 stars. It was so good. I know a lot of people are like against rating memoirs. This is also in my April audiobook video. But I just can't not rate a book. So if I'm like over the moon about an audiobook or an audiobook about a memoir, it gets 5 stars. Otherwise, it just gets 4 stars because who am I to judge somebody's life? And with that, I have some black Mickey Mouse deco because of John's love for Disney and Disneyland. And oh my god, he tells the story of proposing to his now wife there. And he tells a story about them having their baby and like picking his name. And oh my god, I was sobbing. Like happy tears, sad tears, you name it, the tears happened. Find out a whole story about how he got banned from the Grand Floridian at at Disney World in Florida. It's all so funny. And then some things that were like really touching in the book were like hearing about his relationship with like the guys on Full House and how he like didn't really want to even do the show to begin with, which I did know that from listening to him on Haru Tanneritos, which is Kimmy Gibbler, Andrea Barber, and Stephanie Jodie Sweeten, their podcast. He's like been a guest on it. So I did like know that information, but just hearing him tell the stories was next level. And he's such a great storyteller. So if you care at all about John Stamos, highly, highly recommend. Moving on. What is next? What is next? Next is another audiobook and then a middle grade magical realism type book. So the first one we are going to go over is Counting the Cost. These are both 4-star ratings. Counting the Cost, which is Miss Jill Duggar from the Duggar family. Her memoir called Counting the Cost, of course. And I really was like invested in this book. I distinctly remember again. I can like really remember what I'm doing while I read certain books, and it was the same day that I was getting my hair done, and I listened to the audiobook on the way to the appointment and on the way back from my appointment. And the quote that I picked is, sometimes you have to be okay with other people not being okay with you, and you have to be okay with that, with you not being okay too. So this book was very much what I wanted Jill's book to be. It wasn't necessarily like her just shitting on her family, but it was her like talking about like the bad parts about growing up on TV and the extreme religion she grew up in. And there was a lot discussed about her brother, Josh, who is currently serving time in prison for having inappropriate child material on his computer. And she went on about how like her dad was less aggressive with her brother after he like was facing these charges than he was more mad about her getting a nose ring than that, and how she's like, it's just like really toxic. And it was very sad, very fascinating, and also you learned a lot about how little she and her siblings got paid, especially after they became of age. And her and her sisters had a spin-off show because the original show got canceled after her brother, you know, came out that he was doing the things he was doing. I am using silver just writing deco because she wrote the book. I guess I could have used baby deco, but I didn't. So here we are. But she talks a lot about how they literally, like her dad, basically conned them into signing these contracts that they didn't really like know what they were signing, and they trusted him because they never had any reason not to. But like that's where they went wrong, because he conned them out of so much money. And her husband, thank God for Derek, he really stood up to Jim Bob and was like, no, like we're not doing this. Got them out of their contract by like proving that they were not given the full information upon signing it. And she talks a lot about like the invasion of privacy. Like during her pregnancies, she went through a pretty bad miscarriage, and how the production crew was so invasive to her like private space and demanding that they're able to be there with the birth of her sons. And it was just very eye-opening and heartbreaking, and I commend her for being brave enough to write it, honestly, because you gotta be one tough cookie to do that. So we read that. Then the next book I read for my reading books that are like not the usual genre for me. Let me find the quote. Here it is. And it's the same size. And the quote is, "Don't you see? We bought you even when you were broken. Even though you were in pieces, you were still worth saving." Oh my God, it gives me chills every time I read it. That quote. But basically, Olivetti is a middle grade magical realism book about this family, and the mom has this Olivetti typewriter that she has had pretty much like for forever. And basically, she one day up and gets rid of it. She brings it to a consignment shop, and then she disappears. So there is like a little bit of a mystery throughout the story, which is super fun. And you are meeting this cast of characters, all of these siblings, the people who work at the consignment shop, and you're figuring out what is going on with the mom, why she's disappeared, where has she gone, what's happening. And it's just like really sad. And then the really cool part is that you learn that typewriters are not like completely like, they're not like completely human, but they have the ability to type out their memories, type out what has been typed on them before. So Olivetti decides he's gonna help solve the case and find her. by typing out to them like, hi, I am Olivetti, like, do you want me to tell you like what she has typed on me? And it was just very cute, very quick. I listened to this on audio, and it was a super short audiobook, but I absolutely loved it, and I gave it 4 stars. I am again using the Writer Deco. This time I'm using it in Pixie Gold, and I think it's super cute, super pretty. And the overalls are in reference to, there's this like girl, she's like the, I think, niece or granddaughter. She is in relation to the man who runs the like thrift store that Olivetti was donated to. And she becomes like a very big character, and I absolutely love her. She's so funny, but she's always wearing she's always dirty. She's always climbing in dumpsters, and she is always wearing these big overalls with a big pocket to hold all of her things. So I had to make sure I included overalls. Ooh, I forgot my star rating. Where are we gonna put this? I can just pop it down here at the bottom, I suppose. It's completely fine. And again, this was another 4-star rating. See, the month started out decent, but my average rating was like a middle, like a 3.5-ish. It went downhill, and y'all will see when we get there about how downhill it went. But I think this looks so fresh. We have a 5-star next, which is Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams, which is perfect. We have a beautiful page for it. I have my 3 quotes. I already found them, I believe. Beg, borrow, steal, beg, borrow, steal, beg, borrow, steal. We have one on version 3. We have this quote that says, you think you're unlovable, but I think I've never known how to love until knowing you. Oh my God. So this is the 3rd. This is in a Reading My 5-Star Authors book. It's in my Reading Slump Rescue video. But oh my God. This book is so good. It is the 3rd installment in the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams, and this is about one of the sisters. The first book is about the brother, and then the second book is about one of the sisters, and then this is about another sister, and then the next book's about the last sister. But she's a teacher, and she is very much like big sister energy. She's always the one taking care of everybody, and nobody really checks on her, and she's kind of going through it and could really use someone checking in. And so her arch enemy, which is another teacher at the school, he ends up moving back to town. He had quit because he was getting engaged. The wedding's off. He's back in town, and he is now her across the street neighbor. And, you know, they obviously fall in love because it's romance. But the other quotes I have is, someone has to hold it together. Someone has to lift the blanket on her head and let her sister climb in when the thunder would shake the house. Someone had to assure them that her bed was the safest place in the world. I was always promising them that I would never go anywhere, and my door was always open to them. And then, no one needs me. And when they don't need me, they don't come around anymore either, because I am a utility sponge. I am useful, and if I'm no use to someone anymore, they throw me under the sink. Oh my God, I could cry. It was so good. Like, as much as I would hate to admit it, the main character, Emily, like, I am she and she is me, and it's just the simple fact of the matter. They're both teachers, so I have this, like, cute little classroom situation I thought would be fun. And I'll throw in one of the quotes here. Then we will, I think, maybe put the really long quote down at the bottom. Then we can do a little thing like this. Do it like this, actually. Here towards the center. There are so many sheets. I'm going to have to place a restock order on all of my boxes. When I'm done here, I'm going to pop this in here to put the 5 stars in. We'll start there. And then I have some more fun little things that reminded me of the book to put in. But it was just so good. So cute. If you're a big sister, like, I feel like, especially like, not to get too emotional. My mom died when my sister was 17, and our parents were divorced since she was 18 months old. So I feel like I've very much been the utility person. I've very much been the person who's holding it together for her. And so it just gave me a lot of feelings. There's a lot of talk about her cat, so I kind of made this a little bit big. But that's fine. I'll just do this. For the kitty cat, there's lots of talk about the main male character and his glasses, and then her and her red nails, and her claw clip. So that's very cute. And then I do have the school deco from my shop in pink tie-dye, because they are both teachers, so I thought that would be perfect to throw in here. And I thought this color was so cute with this. They're also both writers. That's another thing, is like he is secretly like this big author, and he goes by a pen name because his dad's also an author, and he wanted to prove that he could do it without his dad, because his dad's very abusive and like a literal piece of freaking shit. So there's that fun aspect. I love reading about authors. I love books about books, and like he writes mysteries, and she's trying to write her first ever romance novel, like a smutty book, and it's just all so cute. And they were so cute together, and I just loved it. And the town, everything about this series, I'm gonna be so sad when it's over. I'm gonna have to start it from the top. And Sarah Adams is one of my like comfort authors. If you like romance but you don't like spice, I highly recommend you check her out, because there's a handful of her books that do have a spicy chapter in them, but she lets you know at the top of the book, I think the times that it has occurred in both of those books that I can think of, at the top of the book it tells you that chapter whatever is a spicy chapter, and if you don't want to read that, then skip that chapter. You won't miss anything about the plot. And I think that is fantastic. But that would be Beg, Borrow, Steal. Okay. Next up, we have got Sad Nuggie. This is one of the cases in which I am not doing a full page for a 5-star, because it is just for this little graphic novel that I read called Sad Nuggie. I got the arc of it, and it's so cute. I want a physical copy. It's so bad. And it's just this, like, my friend, who owns Scribble Princess, she texted me and was like, girl, you've got to, get this arc. Like, it's just available. You don't have to request it. She's like, it's literally you. Because I'm a sad girl and I love chicken nugget. But the quote I picked is, the quality of the day can be determined solely on whether you get sad cold nuggets or the crispy ones. And the best days of all are when you find a little something extra. You guys know, the extra nuggie is a sign of a fantabulous day, always and forever. But this wasn't like a super quotable book or anything, so I'm not like, I don't need to dedicate a full page to it. Even though 'twas cute. 'Twas cute. And I don't really like have all that much to like put in extra stuff wise. I literally have one thing, and it is Sad Nuggie eating a bucket of chicken nuggets. So funny. So funny, so funny. And then I did give it 5 stars, naturally, because that's what it deserved. It made me smile. It did its job, which was to bring joy. Simply. Its only job is joy. A little sad nuggaroo. But I highly recommend, if you're a graphic novel person, picking it up. It'll make you giggle. It'll make you smile. It's just so cute. And then I just have some blue hollow stars, and we will be using the Giganto ones because we don't have a whole lot to put in here, because there's only so much to say about a graphic novel to begin with. So, you know, it's more about looking at the pictures and they were fantastic. There was like little Nuggie, sad Nuggie getting a new job and trying to go out and do things, but he's kind of just like an indoor nugget, but he's just really trying his best, and that's what counts, is that he's trying. And I'm like, you know what, Nuggie? Me too. Very relatable content that this little chicken nugget has brought to me. So that's gonna be everything for Sad Nuggie. Next up, we have All Is Found, which is an anthology. It's my first time reading an anthology, and it was an experience. Here it is. It's an anthology of Frozen stories, and I did quite enjoy it. There was no quotes on Goodreads, and I listened to it on audio, so I didn't highlight anything. So we're just going with the cold never bothered me anyway, because it is Frozen. I give it 4 stars, and it is in my reading genres. I don't typically read video because I tend to hate short stories, so I've never been like, oh yeah, let me go read an anthology collection of short stories. But I will admit these were quite good. I had only ever heard of one of the authors. There was one story by Delilah S. Dawson, and overall it was really good, really cute, and there weren't any of the stories that I disliked, and I gave it 4 stars overall. And I am happy to have read it, of course. And then I do have the Snow Deco in Pixie Blue because it's Frozen. We need the sparkly blue for this, of course. And then we're gonna pop in our 4-star rating. I'm worried I'm gonna run out of stars and dividers. I may be pausing so I can make more stuff for this video. Okay. So now we're just gonna toss in our Snow Deco. Obviously gonna put in our snowman because of our boy Olaf. So cutesy. But yeah, it was pretty good. I wouldn't have like picked it out at the store, but I got it as a gift, and I'm very, very, very thrilled that I was able to be pushed out of my comfort zone and read something like this that I wouldn't naturally pick up, because I did really enjoy it. Frozen is my favorite Disney movie. If you were curious, my top 3 is Frozen, The Little Mermaid, and Coco. So that's that, and we will move on. The next thing, okay, we have a 2-star and a 3-star, so, you know, just gonna find the quotes for these things. No. Oh my goodness. No. Yes. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, first things first is I need to grab out some more size 2. More size 2. And I read my first ever Ellen Hildebrand book, which was The 5-Star Weekend. And the quote I have is, "You can be more than one kind of person in life, or in your life." And I just thought this was really boring. It was really long. It's about this woman whose husband dies, and she decides she's gonna throw this thing, called a 5-Star Weekend. She is a food blogger, and basically she's gonna invite a friend from all of the phases of her life to come spend the weekend at her house on Nantucket, and hopefully she's gonna like learn all about herself. And it was just like not good. It was giving, it was very much the vibes of like rich people doing shit, and it's just like not a section of literature that I enjoy. I know that like rich people doing bad things is like very popular, but I just like get so infuriated by it. And that's just kind of how it felt, following all these different, the only person's name I remember is Drew Ann, because it was like an odd name, and it was just not good. And I just don't think I'm ever going to read anything else from this author, but we're gonna toss in Welcome to Nantucket as well as a camera, because she is a food blogger. And then I do have the Summer Deco in my shop, and this was a past foil of the month. It's like a gold, sparkly gold, but there's plenty of gold colors you can pick from in the shop. But they were like going to be sitting by the pool. It was summertime, so I thought that this would work perfect for the vibes. But honestly, it was just not. It was not the vibes. I'm unhauling the book. I've actually already unhauled the book because I've already filmed my wrap up, and I just don't recommend. Simply put, I don't recommend. And if you love Miss Ellen, then that is wonderful for you. I got this book on clearance for like $3 at the used bookstore. So it was, I'm not like sad to be unhauling it or anything. It was not like some big loss on my part. Oh, I gotta put in the rating. That would help. That's what I'm forgetting. That's what I am forgetting. Toss this sunshine in there. Give it 2 stars. 2 whole stars. Don't they stop? Where did I put the stars? This is always what I run into while I'm doing these videos. Sometimes, they're literally not even hiding. They're directly in front of my face. I'm just apparently not paying attention. But yeah, it was like not for me. After that, I listened to these were both in my audiobook video, the book Every Last Fear by Alex Finlay. I had never read from them before. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It's another book falling into the category of it's not a thriller, it's just a mystery, and that's just not particularly my favorite way of things ending up. So the quote I have here is, "You have 2 choices when you are confronted with your every last fear. Give up or fight like hell." So I thought that was pretty perfect for this. We have got the crime deco because the FBI are involved in this book, and the cover's blue, so I did dark blue. This takes place partially in Mexico and then partially at a college. So we do have like the college situation there. Then, oh my god, I forgot to put cut lines on this FBI thing. I gotta cut it by hand. One moment. Sometimes I make a mistake. My own nonsense. Okay. It's all good in the hood. The lines are not gonna be straight, but it's fine. Pop that in there. I always try to cover up the page number because, again, I do not like that this is dated or numbered. Put this in here. I gave it 3 stars. It was like fine, a fine story. I just like wanted it to give me more of like the thrilling vibes than it did, and it just gave mystery, which is unfortunate. So we're gonna toss in the crime deco now. I feel like these foiled deco sheets, like it looks good, and then I put these in, and then I'm like, okay, it looks great. They just really seal the deal for me. And I love how it always ends up looking. So with that, we're gonna toss this in, and then I'll just do some of the little dots. I have a video coming out that came out already, I think, on my other channel that's called Book Journaling 101, and I go over like how I keep everything organized for the book journal. if you are curious. This is so blue besides this day. You can't sometimes space out the colors as well as you would like. So after this, I listened to every last, my mouse in the trash. Every last Fear and, or no, The Good Sister and Tangled Up in You are the next two, which are, one's a 4-star, one's a 3-star. So the first one is The Good Sister. I listened to this again for that audiobook video, and it's very good. It is a Sally Hepworth book, which I have notoriously given every book I have read by her. What's it called? I've given every book I have read by her 4 stars. So I was not shocked to give this one 4 stars as well. The Good Sister, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use box version 5. I don't think I have that pulled out currently. Nope. Okay, so the quote I have is, "The library belongs to everyone. The library," Janet used to say, is one of only a few places in the world that one doesn't need to believe anything or buy anything to come inside." And I loved that. So basically in this we have a set of sisters, Rose and Fern, and you get like this past timeline in the format of the sister Rose's journal, and then the book's mainly about Fern, and she is a librarian, and she is kind of quirky, and she kind of has been made to feel by her sister her whole life like she is bad, and that she does bad things, and that she makes bad choices, and that she is destined to like ruin things. It's kind of how like her sister is like made her feel. And then her sister is having trouble getting pregnant, and Fern decides I'm going to use the book deco in dark green, that she is going to try to find somebody to have a baby with so that she can give the baby to her sister, because she wants her sister to be happy. But then through the sister's diary, you start to like learn is maybe Rose is the one that's up to no good. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy Sally's writing in her books. I tend to just enjoy them all. I again lost I'm putting my stars to the side so I don't lose them, but then I am just like still not remembering where I put them to the side, so then they just end up being lost. It's really a tragic time. But yeah, I thought it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I do recommend it. And I also, it's my second, I think the order in which I like the books that I've read by her, I like The Soulmate the best, then The Good Sister, and then Darling Girls. But like I said, I've given all of them the same rating of 4 stars. So to me, they're all quite good. And that's just a fact of the matter. And I like, even in like this thriller setting, that she's a librarian, that there's lots of books involved. It's very fun. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that one. Just very glad to have read it. I'm so thirsty. I have about 10 minutes until my camera cuts me off. It cuts me off like around every 20-ish minutes. So I'm like, whenever that happens, I'm gonna go get a drink. Okay, then the next book that I read was Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. This is reading my 5-star authors video, and this book is a Rapunzel Tangled retelling. The quote I'm using is, "She was such a paradox, delicate but unbreakable, modest but intrepid, innocent but electrifying." And I am using the artist deco in Purple Hollow because, like Rapunzel, our main character is like an artist, a writer, you name it, she does it. She's got everything spoiling for her. And again, it's a retelling of Rapunzel in the like most literal sense. She kind of lives growing up on kind of like a compound, and she's never really been allowed to go out into the real world until now. She is college aged and she is ready to experience life, and her parents are gonna let her go away to college, but not too far, to Corona College, which I think is so funny. And because like the kingdom that Tangled takes place in is Corona, so the fact that it's Corona College just is so fun. But she goes and she learns a little bit more about who she is while she's there, okay? And I gave it 3 stars. It was cute, it was fine. I'm not like running out the door to read the rest of the series, because this is a collection of stories by a bunch of different authors. This just was the one by Christina Lauren, and that's kind of what sold me on it, was that it was Christina Lauren. There is I think there's a Little Mermaid one, a Beauty and the Beast possibly. I don't know what else off the top of my head, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I thought it was cute enough. I don't need to go and experience all of them, but it was a fun time. It was cute. I think I am also kind of at a point now, I'm gonna be 30 this year, where I don't love a college romance. Like, I feel very, very, very removed from anything school related. So I think stories that take place at like at a school, you will see that throughout, no matter what the genre is actually, give it kind of a bad rating from me. So that's that. After Tangled Up in You, we're going to do these a little bit out of order because we have a 5-star coming up and we don't have room currently for a 5-star, so we'll just split this in half and we'll do it out of order. It's not a big deal to me personally. The next book is The Wives by Taryn Fisher. This book is about this guy. He has got like a bunch of wives. They each are assigned a different day of the week that he is with them, and they don't know each other until one day one of the wives is kind of sick of this life and she wants to find out about the other ones. And I gave it 3 stars. There were some things that happened that I'm pretty against in regards to books, so I don't want to like say it because it's kind of a spoiler, but just know that I don't love the things that they made like the bad guy in this book. I think it's like kind of not the vibes. Whenever my camera dies, that's when I'm gonna go get a drink because she be flashing at me, baby. A little bit too tall, so. There is a hospital involved in this book, so I did a hospital. And we'll pop this in, pop this in. We'll pop my rating of a 3-star in. My buddy read this with a friend, and I think she also gave it 3 stars for kind of like the same reasons. I definitely don't think I'm gonna have enough stars. Maybe I'll break and go prepare food. Actually, I'm making chicken wing dip, and that's like a lot of steps. I don't really have time to do that, but. And then I have the Dr. Deco, so I'm just gonna throw this in. If my camera dies, I'm just gonna finish up this book, which is just throwing in the Dr. Deco. And then I'm gonna change the battery before we do the next book, which is another slightly disappointing thriller. Or this one's even more disappointing, a 2-star thriller that I did get rid of. It's out of here, baby. But yeah, this book was kind of, I like read it per recommendation of a booktuber, and it like had the potential to be like really good, but there were just some choices that the author made that made me feel a little bit icky, you know? Just made me feel a little bit ick-tastic. fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna go change my battery, get a drink, and we will reconvene. So next I'm gonna put in the Maidens. It's technically not what I read next, but it's just like where we're going next. You know what I'm saying? The quote I am using is this one that says, "Reading about life was no preparation for living it." This was a 2-star read. This was Mr. Alex Miko, I don't know how to say his last name. Alex Michaeletti's. It was his last chance, and he is cut off. Okay, I'm done reading books by him. I don't like him. I don't like his writing. It's just not for me. Okay, so we have got a Greek temple because there's lots of talk about Greek stuff. We'll pop in. It takes place at Cambridge University. Again, it's another book where I'm like, I think I just maybe don't like that college setting. And then is this pine cone for this? Yeah. Pine cones were another like big thing within the book. So tossing in a little pine cone, and then we'll put in our rating of 2 stars. Okay, and then I have the school deco in bronze because this takes place at a school. Basically, a girl at the school gets killed, and the main character, her niece, goes to the school. So she's gonna go there to like be there for her niece. She's also a like therapist, and I don't know, for some reason she's like solving the crime, you know, and it was like a mystery. It was not very interesting. There's also like, I just don't get, like, I get that The Silent Patient was his best book. I think the first one, but I'm not really sure. I've read both The Fury and now The Maidens, and for some reason the author feels the need to reference the main character of The Silent Patient. His name's like Dr. Theodore or something, whatever, in all of his other work. I don't like understand why we have to keep referencing The Silent Patient. I think it's kind of corny, and I didn't like it. And an author gets like 2 strikes, and we've had 2 2-stars and 1 4-star from this author, so they're done. We're done. All done with him and his nonsense. Okay, next we're gonna do a 5-star read from Miss Mariana Zapata. I am in love with her, and it is The Wall of Winnipeg in Me. This is a sports, romance, marriage of convenience type of situation. She starts out as being his assistant. She quits her job, and I'm not even going to say anything else. He needs her to come back, okay? So we have this one that says, "I'm starting to understand that you can always make time for the things that matter." So cutie. And then we need some version 1. Put this box. Yeah, okay. This one says, life was all about choices. You choose what to make out of what you had, and I wasn't going to let it make me its bitch. I could be a mature adult who knew her limits. I could be a good person, maybe not all the time, but enough. Oh my god, I loved our main character. She was so sass-tastic. And then this one says, when no one tells you that the road to accomplishing your goals isn't, what no one tells you is that the road to accomplishing your goals isn't a straight line. It looks more like a corn maze. You stopped, you went, you backed up, you took a few wrong turns along the way, but the important thing you had to remember was that there was an exit somewhere. And I loved that quote, and I loved this book, and we have so much fun little extras. I like had so many things written down to like use for this book. So we've got, starting with some cute little fan art of the couple. The guy's name was Aiden, I think. The one thing that I did think was cringy, and I did nearly dock some points for it, is like on the field he's referred to as the Wall, because he's the Wall of Winnipeg, and like they like not ironically, they like literally refer to him as the Wall, and it made me gag a little. I thought it was really corny, but didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so now we'll add in all of our things. We have a cute little like Vegas wedding chapel situation. Pop that there. I've got a golden retriever pepperoni. He's so cute. We've got a ball from Dragon Ball. She's constantly flipping people off. So we've got this like finger flip off to the lips. I thought was so cute. She's actively training for a 5K throughout the book. So I wanted to pop that in. And then he is rich, richity rich, and that's like a big thing, is that she's only helping him because she needs money. And then we've got the football deco here. See, like that's cute, but wait till we add the deco in. It makes it so much better. And this is in blue tie-dye. It's just really gonna be the icing on the cake. I know it, I know it, I know it. But oh my god, our main character was just so good. And if you've never read Mariana Zapata, you should definitely go into it knowing that her romances are slow burn. They are long and they are slow burn. It might be a 500-page romance, but they are not kissing until page 480. And I love that. It's just like, ugh. It's so much more satisfying when they finally do get together, because you've been waiting for so long and rooting for them for so long. And I've only ever read 2 books by her. The first book I read this year was The Wall of Winnipeg. Was All Roads Lead Here, and I gave it 5 stars. And then this one, which I also gave 5 stars. So Miss Mariana is off to a good start. I currently own 2 of her other books. I have When Gracie Met the Grump and From Lukoff with Love, I believe. So excited to continue on my Mariana Zapata journey. Come on. Like the deco just adds so much. It's so good. Okay. The next thing we read was The Clinic by Kate Quinn. This was a thriller / mystery. It's more mysterious. The quote is, "Let someone catch you cheating badly and they won't suspect you of cheating well." And this is about these sisters, Meg and Haley. And Meg works in Vegas. She has a alcohol and pill addiction. Haley is an actress. Their mom is also an actress. She is also an addict, and she is currently checked into rehab. And she ends up dying at the rehab facility. Oh my god, I lied. There is 2 more things I needed to add to this. Oh my god. We've got the St. Luke or whatever, St. whoever pendant, which was a big thing. And we've got a flashlight. They're very important things, so I have to include them. But they fit in seamlessly. They were meant to be there. So her sister dies at this facility, and they say it's suicide. And Meg and her sister don't have like a super close relationship, but she's like, this is sus. This is not, I forgot this too. Oh my god. This doesn't seem like my sister. Like, and they said that she like died of a heroin overdose, and she's like, she does not do heroin. Like, something's fishy here. So she checks herself into the rehab place called like the clinic, and wants to discover what has happened to her sister. So, and the quote is in regards to her and her working in Vegas, let somebody, like the cheat, like if you let somebody catch you cheating bad, they won't suspect you to cheat well. Got these like playing cards, because she's like constantly like playing poker and stuff to catch some bad guys. Then some other things. We have a puffer fish. If you read the book, you'll get it, okay? Don't worry about it if you don't read the book. I don't want to say. And then a bottle of Jack Daniels, because that's her liquor of choice. And then I do have the Dr. Deco and Hollow Gray lines, because this does take place at a rehab facility. And you do get 2 points of view. You get our main girl, Meg, and you do get one of the doctors or nurses working at the clinic named Kara. And yeah, it was very, very fascinating. I gave it 4 stars. It was quite long. I think if I listened to this on audio, and it's in my audiobook video, The Wall of Winnipeg and Me is in my 5-star author video, but I think listening to it on audio helped because it's over 400 pages, and I just genuinely in my soul don't think that there's really ever a time where a just like silly little thriller needs to be that long. I understand in like fantasy and stuff because you need to world build, you need to discuss and go over how everything's operating, but in a book that's just like set in the regular world, there's really nothing that needs that deep of an explanation. So with that being said, we read The Clinic and I did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars. And I thought it was fascinating. And one thing I actually really loved, I don't often read the author's note, and I don't really know why I did. I think because it was in the front of the book instead of the back. And the author, Kate, she is an alcoholic, and this was the first book she wrote sober. And she used to think whenever she checked herself into rehab that she was never going to write again, because she thought she needed to be drunk to come up with ideas for a book. But it turns out she didn't, and I think that that's very inspiring. So then things went downhill in life. We started reading the Shivers collection, which was a collection of books, short stories, things like no short stories, because I think they're all like 50 pages long. And I think I may run out of boxes that I have like stuff formatted for, which is going to be tragic, but the first one was Jackknife. I gave it 1 star by Joe Hill, which is Stephen King's son. The quote I have is that in America, even disgrace could be monetized. Even shame had market value. And these just all sucked. I'm not going to say anything about them. I'm not even going to discuss the ones that I gave bad rating. I'm not really going to give a lot away about any of them because they're literally like 40 pages. There's not really much I can say that's not a spoiler. But this book was very like dude bro poop and fart humor, and that's just not a way to sell a book to me, you know? So with this, there's like a whole thing about a sycamore tree and a jackknife. So those are the things I have for that. I'm gonna put in our star rating of a 1. I think I gave 2 of them a 1, right? Yeah, okay. So we gave it a 1, and I have the Bloody Deco from my shop in green tie-dye. So we're just gonna put this in there because it's technically horror. There's nothing horrifying about it. It was just the writing was the most horrifying aspect. And I'm not really one to like harp on writing. I usually don't care because I'm not very sophisticated. But it was just like actually like the amount of like vulgar words used in this like novella was kind of wild, and I just hated it with a passion. If I'm being honest with you, I don't recommend, and I simply never want to read anything by this author if this is what the writing is like. And that's just my truth. Sorry to tell you. If you loved this one, it has a really bad rating on Goodreads. Like, its rating on Goodreads is like a 3. So I don't think anybody is like a huge fan of it. But if you are, I do apologize. I hated it, and I'm not gonna lie. Next, these are gonna be the other 4. It was a 5-book collection, and we had 2 4 stars, a 3 star, and 2 1 stars. So that's just the truth of the matter. You know? Okay, that's just gonna stay there. And then the next one is the Indigo Room, I think. Yes. So the next one is the Indigo Room. I also give this one 1 star. Because I did not like it at all. I thought it was bad. And yeah, the quote that I have was, when the lights go down, she thinks she sees one of her coworkers without a head. And yeah, I'm not really, like I said, gonna go over much about the book because they are so short that anything said would be a spoiler. So we'll just do that. And then the only things I have deco-wise for this one is it starts in a conference room and she's giving a PowerPoint presentation. So that's literally where we are going with this. And then I have like the PowerPoint icon. So I'm going to be using the Bloody Deco for just like all of these, just in a color that matches. Oh, we should probably put our 1-star rating in. I wouldn't want to forget that. So this one I'm just using the Bloody Deco in dark blue because they're all little horror short stories. But yeah, I did not think they were good. Would I listen to another collection? Probably, because it's like comical how bad they were. The only thing is that it like ruined my rating for the month, all these like really low ratings. But it didn't really take much of my time because you get the audio with them as well, and I listened to the audio of them while I was working. And I think for all 5 of them, the audio was like 2.5 hours. I listened to it at 2 times speed. So it was like not a big commitment to like at least be able to say I have an opinion on it, I guess. But yeah, it's not for me. Not for your girl. That's the Indigo Room. Then the best one in the whole collection, and it's the one with the best rating on Goodreads, so I think it's like just the collective truth, is it The Blanks by Mr. Grady Hendrix, which I'm learning I just love his writing. I've read 3 things by him and I've only disliked 1 of them. But the quote is, mistakes is too small of a word for the things parents do. Okay. And this takes place on Jekyll Island, so that's where I went deco or like things, pictures and stuff wise. Again, we do what we can to cover up the, what's it called? The page number. Pop this here actually. Pop that in. Okay, frame, yeah. And then this little like Jekyll Island, Georgia picture. And then again, we've got the Bloody Deco. And this I did give 4 stars. Thought it was quite good. This, like, I wish was a full story, because I was like, what the fuck is happening? And like, if this was fleshed out into like a full-length novel, I, without a shadow of a doubt, can tell you it would be 5 stars. It was so creepy. Oh my god, I loved it. I did, I really did. I would even like re-listen to it, because I'm like, what? Like the whole time I'm just like, what? And then it's over because it's so short. And you're like, what do you mean it's over? That's it? How is that it? But if you have Amazon Prime, then I suggest giving specifically this one a try. I don't really suggest any of the others. The next one I liked well enough. It was very sad. It was not spooky, but it was sad. Okay. Next we have Night and Day in Misery. And the quote I have is, when you've been married long enough, there is a ritual to it, walking through certain subjects in a certain order. This is really sad. It's like about a mom who loses her child and then like goes back to the place where she lost him, and it's just very depressing, honestly. It's really the only way to put it. I gave it 4 stars, but again, I did not think it was scary. I just thought it was sad. So it's at a motel, so she's going to this motel. And we'll throw in the quote, and this one I did also give 4 stars. I believe. I guess I should double check. I'm like 90% sure I gave this one 4 stars. Yeah, and the other one 3 stars. So. And then she talks about her like son's pajamas that have sailboats on them. So I found like some sailboat jammies and tossed that in. And we'll put in our 4-star rating. Yeah, I am running out of stars. Like I said, I'll probably break and like make some stuff for this video because I think I'm gonna need another sheet of dividers as well. I did not take into account how much was gonna be used in this video. Then I have just some red blood splatters. And yeah, this one, like I said, it just gave sad and depressing more than like scary per se, but I do very much recommend this one. And of like my friends who I've seen like listen to the whole collection, it's pretty much these 2 are like the collective good ones, and the first 2 are the collective bad ones, and then the final one's just like okay. It's basically what I've been seeing in general. And then the last one is called The Letterbox by Owen King, and the quote I have is, "It was freeing in a way and affirming too. No one cared, they just pretended." And that was the final book for this silly little collection. Keep dropping stuff, and I'm like afraid that I'm gonna drop something and not be able to find it. So for this one, we have some letters and a like letterbox and a door. Kind of probably makes sense with the title of the book literally being The Letterbox, or the letter slot, my bad. And I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. I just like genuinely didn't care that much about any of the characters. They were all like whatever to me personally. So there's that, and we have got the Bloody Deco in Shattered Red for this one. And this is another one where I do think maybe if I had a full fleshed out story on this like subject, I may actually enjoy it, but I just like didn't care enough about the characters because of it being a 40-page story, which I obviously knew going into it, but it doesn't change the fact that it did indeed affect my feelings on it. So that was that whole collection of books. That nonsense, we had a 5-star audiobook for Crazy Rich Asians, which I love the movie. My friend Andrea introduced me to the movie, and then I was like, I gotta read the book because I love the movie so much. So the quotes I have is, "Doing nothing can sometimes be the most effective form of action." Okay, and then I need version 5 or 3 actually. This one says, "Just because some people actually work for their money doesn't mean they're beneath you." So in this book, we have our main character, Rachel, and her boyfriend are both teachers, and he wants her to come home with him for the summer and meet his family. However, he has not been very forthcoming with her about who his family is, and I don't know where it coming off, but that kind of bites him in the butt that he doesn't tell her about his family, and then she goes to Singapore, finds out that they are richity rich, and whoa, they think that she ain't nothing but a gold digger. I did make this a little bit too long, so that's just that. But the quote is, "That's what I want for my kids. I want them to love their family, but to feel a deeper sense of pride in who they are as individuals, Nick. Not how much money they have, what their last name is, or how many generations they go back to whatever dynasty. I'm sorry, but I have had enough. I have had enough of being around all these crazy rich Asians, all these people whose lives revolve around making money, spending money, flaunting money, comparing money, hiding money, controlling others with money, and ruining their lives over money." So, that is the next one we're going over, and that was so good. It was so much like the movie, which I was so happy about, because I feel like that's just like not been my reality of reading books that have like movie adaptations. I've been like watching the movies shortly after and been like quite like jump scared, like, oh, this is actually not even remotely anything like the book. And like, obviously as a book person, the book is always better, yada yada, but like, it's been like shocking how different the books are to movies lately when I'm watching the adaptations. So I was just really excited that this was quite like the movie. They talk about getting satay, so as like street food, and then I did get some little things from the film because I just had to. Here. And then we have our girl Astrid because I freaking love her. She's so fabulous. So fantabulous. Love. This looks so good. So good. And then we can put our rating here of 5 stars. 5 freaking stars. I listened to this in my audiobook video. This book's long. It's like over 500 pages. The audiobook was like 16 hours or something crazy, but it was so good. And the audio narrator was so good. It was just all so good. So good. I guess depending on how many, no, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to take a break and make more stuff for this. Okay, so we've got the travel deco for this because they travel to Singapore for the wedding and to meet the family and for all the drama that unfolds. It involves traveling to experience all the drama, unfortunately, but it's just so good. It's so good. I highly recommend, if you enjoy the movie, just read the book because it's so good. And this is in Pixie Rose, which is my favorite foil, so I was glad I got to use it somewhere this month. Another thing is with these deco sheets, if you're not doing a full page, like all of the ones that I've only done like half pages with, I have like enough deco left over to do like a whole nother book. So, but like then the ones that are like full pages like this, I tend to use everything. It's just like some information for ya. Okay. Actually, we're gonna add some deco down here to this little quote. Make her sparkle a little. Okay. That's everything for Crazy Rich Asians. Next, we're gonna do another splitting the page in half situation. The first one we're gonna go over was my book club pick. I do have a book club. If you don't know, I do. I really, really do. And this was the first disappointment of the year so far, so I think that that's like pretty good that we've made it this far into the year and haven't had any huge disappointments yet. besides this one. So this was Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson, and I gave it 2 stars, and the quote is, see, that's the thing about trauma. You never get to quit it. You never get to walk away from it and rediscover the innocence and joy you felt before the thing happened. I did actually really love that quote, but this book is pitched on the back of the book as a thriller. First off, it's not. That it's this girl and she runs this podcast, and essentially she invites people onto her podcast to confess to crimes that they have committed. She will not guarantee that the authorities won't come after you, but she will guarantee that you will remain anonymous until one day she gets a call from somebody and they claim to be her mother's murderer, and she knows that it can't be because she has already taken care of him. So there's that. There's a dog, so we're gonna use the dog and as one of my like deco bits. But basically, I was just expecting something different from this book based on how it is pitched. I was expecting us to get to hear these guests on her show and hear the things they did and what happens afterwards. But we hear like one story and then it's like 400 pages of just her recounting how she killed this guy to like a bunch of different people. We do have the podcast deco from my shop in Sunset Hollow, and I was just so beyond bored reading this book, and I did not like it, and I gave it 2 stars, and that was it. Basically, I think her boyfriend could have done better than her because she was kind of a bitch the whole time, and I was just not a fan, okay? I was not a fan. I am a hater of this book. And I'm so annoyed extra because this was like a 5-star prediction for me, which maybe I had too high of hopes, but I had heard really good things when I bought it. I bought it at the store at new full price, like new price, like brand new book. It was like $20 for the paperback because the clerk, she was like this little old lady. She was really hyping it up and she was so cute. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll get it because she's like, I couldn't put it down. I didn't want to pick it up, if I'm being honest with you. So that was that, and I was not a fan, and I don't recommend, but I do recommend you joining the book club. It's very low-key. If we're reading a book you don't like or aren't interested in, just skip it. There ain't any real rules. Next, I read the audiobook of Sociopath, and I don't think I have any more box 7, so, oh wait, yes I do, I've got 2 more. Perfect. This was in the prologue, and I'm obsessed with it. I actually really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars. The first 60% was 5 stars, but then kind of lost me a little bit at the end, so I ended up giving it 4 stars instead of 5 because just lost me a little bit there, baby. But anywho, this quote says, "Representation matters. I offer my story because it illustrates the truth no one wants to admit, that darkness is where you least expect it. I am a criminal without a record. I am a master of disguise. I have never been caught. I have rarely been sorry. I am friendly. I am responsible. I am invisible. I blend right in. I am a 21st century sociopath." Oh my god, I loved that. I thought that was so good. I thought the book was so good, honestly. I really enjoyed it. It's a memoir, and it's her story about her life and how she is, in fact, a sociopath. And there were parts where I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. That's so like, haha, that's so funny. And then you take a minute to step back and you're like, no, this is her real life. This isn't like a story about like a deranged child. This was her life. And that in itself was wild. After this, I am going to take a break so that I can make more stars, apparently. I actually might have some. I just need to boil them. So I am going to toss in the DSM in here because that's like a big thing in the book, is that is like her getting her diagnosis and how sociopathy is, I guess, not even in the DSM anymore. And then there's a whole thing with a locket. So we have a locket here. And a lot of this book is about how she went to school to study psychology to try to figure out ways to live better. So I do have the school deco in bronze here to fill in the spots because I thought that was perfect. But I really wanted to mainly highlight that quote because I just thought that quote was so powerful. And there's a callback to the quote in the as like the final line to the book. And I just think it was very powerful. It was very well done. And I think that this author, Patrick Gagne, I don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry, Patrick. But I think that she is just very brave for telling the story. She talks about a lot how she was really taken advantage of by people, and people would befriend her just to like do their bidding. Like somebody would befriend her and be like, yeah, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. Will you break into his house and like snoop? Like if I can tell you when he's gonna be gone, can you like break in and find evidence? And she, as like a sociopath, she doesn't have like much of a moral compass, and so she's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I thought that was very fascinating, but we're gonna take a little breaky poo so I can go figure out my star situation. So we're gonna see how much I can get through before my camera cuts me off. Then I'm gonna break to eat dinner because it's 5 o'clock now and I'm starving. I made my chicken dip. We got our stars and our dividers so we can continue onward. Grab my mouse. I'm hoping we can get through most of the rest of the books in the next 20 minutes and then come back to do the stats, but we will see. So, next up we have we're going to finish up the sheets that we're in the middle of, a 4-star and a 3-star. Yeah, should be good. Actually have more like stuff for the 3-star, which is Wild Dark Shore, which I read in my reading genres. I don't usually read video. The quote I have is, but here is the nature of life, that we must love things with our whole selves, knowing they will die. Also, it started raining again. I just want to finish this video at this point, so we're just rocking and rolling with it. I know that this book is very beloved. I also have Snow Deco and Autumn Gold. I did not really like it. It's classified as fiction and mystery. I didn't find it particularly mysterious or particularly interesting, let's be real. So, we have this lighthouse in Antarctica because this book does take place in Antarctica and an island off of Antarctica. And so I'm gonna have a seal because there's lots of talk about seals, which was honestly the highlight for me personally. And then seeds, which, oh my god, the fucking seeds. I like knew that seeds were like a part of this book, but I just didn't realize like how much we were gonna literally be talking about seeds. So I just couldn't, and I gave it 3 stars. I'm gonna be honest with you, it feels more like a 2-star, but I gave it 3 stars. Let's grab the one left on this sheet, because like it was good writing and blah blah blah, all of that stuff. I don't particularly want good writing though. Like, I have trash can taste, you know what I mean? Oh my god, I literally just layered that star on top of the other one. I think going crazy. I'm losing my mind. I'm slowly but surely losing it. Losing it. We actually don't have a ton of room for the snow deco, but it's just snow, so it kind of can just fit in. I don't want to use the snowmen, so it works out just fine. But basically, there's this guy, Dominic, and he and his family live on this island off of Antarctica where they're like housing a bunch of seeds for like an in case of emergency type situation that it's like they need to rebuild and have like these seeds to regrow. like for the world, they will be there. There's been scientists, but everybody has left because basically due to global climate change, the island is just like disappearing, and then this woman washes ashore. And they're like, why is she here? And that's literally the book. Next up, we read By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. This was also in my reading audiobooks. It was in my audiobook video. Okay, here's that. I don't know if I have any more long version one. I keep saying that and being wrong, but like this time I like actually think I don't. I actually think I miscalculated that, the amount of these I have left. So it'll be fine. I'm just gonna really have to do some surgery on the quote. That's all, and it's all good. It is all good. And the quote is, there was once a girl who became so invisible that her words might not be. This book is basically a very much fuck the patriarchy type book. It is about how all the way back to like Shakespeare times, women have been being made invisible in the writing world, especially like in plays. And it's a dual timeline about this girl who's facing discrimination in like playwriting, and her friend submits her play for her under the name, instead of Melina, under the name of Mel. And she is taken seriously because people think that it is a man. So maybe it's because I grew up with like one of my mom's best friends being named Mel. I don't look at the name Mel and think masculine, but evidently that's what happened in this book. And yeah, it's like the past timeline is one of her ancestors, whose name is Amelia, I believe. And how she actually wrote all of Shakespeare's work, and he stole it from her, because she wasn't like stole it from her, it was like a deal that they had because women weren't allowed to write. And so it's very much like just fuck men, specifically fuck white men type energy in this book. And I gave it 4 stars. I listened to it again. It's quite long, and I think if I would have read it physically, I would not have liked it. So I'm very glad that I did listen to it. And we have the writer deco in navy blue. But I thought it was fascinating. I actually got it from my friend Christy. She DNF'd it and sent me her like signed copy. She actually had 2 signed copies, and she sent me one of them. And I was like, you need to give it another try. Like, give it a try on audio. It's so good. You're gonna love the messaging in it, and simply, you gotta give it a try. So we have a little bit of a little William Shakespeare in here, and a little bit of a fuck the patriarchy, you know, because that was the vibes of this book, and I thought it was fantastic. It's historical fiction, if you didn't know. But yeah, I quite enjoyed everything about it, and the only reason I did not give it 5 stars is that it took me probably like 20% of the book to really be like super invested. But like once I was invested, I was like, oh my god, I gotta know what happens to my girls. So next we have a 5-star read. And it is the Lonely Hearts Book Club. It's now like a top fave book of mine. I literally am obsessed. Okay. Let me pull out things that I need. Okay. This is the only other thing that I need. So this is about a cast of characters, and we have our main girl Sloane, and she works at a library, and there is this grumpy old man Arthur who comes in every day until one day he stops coming in, and then she breaks the library's rules and looks up his address because she thinks somebody needs to go check on him. So she takes it upon herself to go check on him, gets herself fired from her job, and then starts a little book club for this group of misfits, and it's just so heartwarming. I gave it 5 stars. I cried, I laughed, I loved it. I loved the way it was written. It was multiple points of view, but instead of it alternating every chapter, it alternated like every, like, it would be like the first X amount of chapters were in Sloane's point of view, then the next chunk of chapters were in this character Maisie's point of view, then the next chunk of chapters were in Mateo's point of view, then the next chunk were in Greg, then the next chunk were in Arthur, and then we rounded back to Sloane, and it was just, I loved it. It was so effective. And then the 3 quotes we have are, in many ways, every death was separated by a lifetime. There was before and there was after, and the only thing that linked them was a wisp of a memory that seemed to be fading with every passing day. Literally just gave me chills. She was in every book I'd ever read, every tale that had ever touched my heart. And this world was a terrible place. It gave you people to love and then took them away before you stopped loving them. It made you mean and angry and cruel to those who needed you most. It grounded you down until it was all you could do. Until all you could do was just get through the day. But most of all, it tried to convince you that you were suffering, that you were alone in your suffering. It's just so good. So stinking good. So with this, we have got a big old like library situation there. That would be perfect. We'll pop this in here. And then I have like this house that's like full of books to the brim, because that's basically our boy Arthur's home. Is just hoarding buried alive with books, you know? And we will pop this in, and then I have this because it reminded me of Arthur. He's so cute and precious. I'll pop this quote in there. And then I have just like a stack of books. And I specifically have Anne of Green Gables because it's like important within the story. And then we will grab our book sticker for the Lonely Hearts Book Club. Then we will get our new sheet of stars. And I'll put my, where should we put it? Here will be perfect to put our 5-star rating. It was so good. I have another book by this author. I'm very paranoid of like, there was one time I was filming my book journal, I think it was like in February, and I wasn't recording, and like I've not moved past it. But, oh, it was just so good. It was so good. And then I have my book stickers in Pixie Rainbow. And yeah, so we're just gonna toss these in, and again, it's just gonna bring everything together. I just know it, because like it obviously looks good before, but it's just gonna look great after we add all of this stuff. Enjoy the ambiance of the rain. It sucks because right like in my office there's a bunch of windows, which is lovely when it's sunny, which it is most of the time in Texas, but because of the windows, when it is raining, the like runoff off the house is literally right here. So it's just like a little bit obnoxious vibes. Just throw in some of the little polka dots. But I think that this is really cute. And yeah, it's just about a very found family story, and there's like lots of messaging about loss, which is something that's near and dear to my house, and about love, but not necessarily in a romantic love, like in a platonic, familial, like being there for each other and finding love within people and loving people through hard times and loving people when they're not being very lovable. And oh, it was just a good for the soul book. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Next we had some doozies, let's be honest. I read Mallerie, which is for an upcoming reading, continuing series video. This is the second book, the final book in the Bird Box duology, and I just like, we didn't need it. And I do feel quite strongly in the sense that whenever you're given a, what's it called? A sequel that wasn't necessarily planned, rarely are they good. And I am going to say that that was kind of the case with Mallerie. I don't think Josh Mallerman wrote Bird Box and was like, oh yeah, like this is gonna be a series, but Bird Box was so successful that he like wrote a second book. It takes place about I think 12 years after Bird Box, and I'm not gonna say much because it would spoil Bird Box, but the quote I have is, but if you tell someone no enough times, they start thinking yes, just to hear something else, just to hear a different word, they start thinking yes. And yeah, that's pretty much, it was like a whatever book. I gave it 3 stars, but like, if you read Bird Box and you're like, oh my god, there's a second one, let me go read, don't, just don't, honestly. Don't get your hopes up, don't think it's gonna be good, because it's just kind of not. It's very mid. And for me, Bird Box, the original one, I think that a lot of the parts that I loved about it was how like, it was very like throat in your chest, stressed out, and a lot of that for me is because it's very high stakes. I have the mystery thriller deco in black. I'm just gonna put that in. It's very high stakes because of the little kids and because of boy and girl, and not knowing if they're gonna make it, if they're gonna survive, and what's gonna happen to them, what's gonna happen to the kids. Like, I think that's like a big part of Bird Box for me, and like what I was so enthralled with. And because there's like no little kids in this book, the like things that were supposed to be high stakes didn't feel as high stakes to me. So that's kind of my 2 cents on Mallerie. It was fine. I didn't need to read it. I would have probably been better off to not read it, but I gave it 3 stars, and it was something I read. It also all takes place on a train, which I don't really love, like that isolated setting very much. I think that was also part of the issue. Then after that, I had another 3-star, which was In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. It was like another one that was like just fine. I was very actually disappointed in this. This was in my reading books my YouTube comments picked video. The quote I have is, sometimes you really didn't have to lift a finger to get exactly what you wanted. Sometimes all you had to do was sit back and do nothing at all. Gave it 3 stars. I read The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead earlier this year, and honestly, I knew about this book and I knew it was like a more popular title by her, and I was not going to originally like ever read it because I knew it took place on a college campus, or it involved college students, and I know that that's not particularly a vibe I enjoy, but I went against my better judgment and was like, well, I'll just give it a try, and like, I just shouldn't have. I just really should not have, you know? It's pretty much what it comes down to, is that I knew I wasn't gonna like that vibe, and I, in fact, did not enjoy that vibe. So it is a thriller about these college kids. They're coming back for their reunion back when they were in college. One of their friends was murdered, and like they're trying to uncover what actually happened, and I gave it 3 stars. But again, I think part of it is like that college setting. I don't like it. I do have the school deco in gold from my shop because a lot of the book is taking place at the college, like in flashbacks, and then like at the college during the reunion. So going going with the college deco for this one. And yeah, it just like was not nearly as good as the other book I've read by this author. I own one other book by her. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I do know it, but it's escaping me. It's not This Book Will Bury Me, because that's the brand new one. It's a different one. And it'll be the deciding factor. I'm not going to purchase anything else until I read something else, because we have one win and one loss. And if we get another loss, we're done. We're done. Okay, I think I have time to do one more book, which would be the favorites, before I go and eat some food. I'm starving to death. We've got 3 quotes here. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. We have, his love for me hadn't been motivation enough to reach his full potential. His hatred, though, that made him capable of anything. This book was so freaking good. Then I have, I convinced myself if I became the best, it didn't matter who I hurt, because in the end, it would be worth it, even if I hurt myself most of all. So good. And then this one was supposed to be on a box size 6, but I ran out of box size 6, so it's not supposed to be on box size 6, you know what I'm saying? I got a box size 2. I think I'm just gonna like force it to work, even though it's kind of long. It's just gonna work. It's gonna be, the thing is, when pushing your limits is all you know, when it seems normal to you, it's hard to remember you even have limits until you run right into them. That is such a good one. Yeah, that doesn't look great, but we're just gonna live, laugh, love it, okay? We've got lots of fun things. We've got this. So basically this is about Katerina and Heath, and they are in the sport of ice dancing, and they come from like Katerina's dad died, Heath is in foster care, and it's mainly Katerina's dream, but Heath will do anything for Katerina because he is so like obsessed with her and so in love with her. And it's very toxic, very Chuck and Blair from Gossip Girl energy. And yeah, they end up making it to the Olympics, but is that like for the best or for the worst? You gotta read it to find out. And yeah, it was I'm like fascinated by the Olympics. I think the Olympics are so interesting. So having that backdrop was so good. I loved it. And like all Katerina cares about is getting a gold medal at the Olympics, and she does not care who she has to cross to get to it. She will do what she has to do, and that is just that, basically. And yeah, she ends up training with like a very famous Olympic medalist, and it's just very good. And then I do have the snow deco in gold. I'm not going to use the snowmen, but we can use the snowflakes because it's ice dancing and it's cold, and a lot of this takes place at the Winter Olympics. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was messy, it was dramatic, but I ate it up. I ate it up. It was so good. And I feel like I'm like late to the party, so like nobody wants to talk about it, but I've just arrived and I'm ready to discuss. So if you're ready to discuss the favorites, please, let's discuss. So I'm gonna go eat, and then we should be able to do the last 5 books and our stats. Okay? Okay guys, I am done eating. I'm feeling better. And we're gonna get into it. We have another 5-star. We have like just more 3 5-stars in a row, which is fantastic vibes. I accidentally X'd out of Goodreads, which I actually don't need. I know my ratings for everything that I have left. Okay, it was recent enough. The next thing we have is The Last Thing to Burn by Will Dean. Okay, evidently I only grabbed one quote for this, which is, my skin is 10 times thicker than before and I'm hiding inside my own skeleton. Oh wait, no, I think there's another one right here. Okay. Is it hiding anywhere else? Is there a third one anywhere else that's hiding? No, I don't think so, but glad I found the second one. Chunky quote. It says, what saves me, so this book is about this girl and she's being held captive by this man who's telling her that she is his wife, but she is not his wife. He's calling her Jane and that is not her name, and she is planning her escape. What saves me is people, strangers, old women, shopkeepers, young lovers, and milkmen doing their rounds, and window cleaners with ladders fixed on the top of their vans. Individuals oblivious to another, yet in a way they act like insurance. An invisible web. Nothing too bad will happen on the street of a small town like this, because people are everywhere. If something heinous occurs, then it's likely to be short-lived. Terrible acts are more difficult to conceal in a place like this. Someone will eventually step in or call the police. Horrors can still take place, but people look after people, even though they might never think of it that way. Oh, literally just gave me chills. But this book was so good. So he's keeping her captive on like his farm in like England. It takes place in the UK. So I'm just gonna pop this like in the middle, and then we'll pop in our quotes, and then I'll grab like the other things. Okay, so she has a broken ankle the entire book. Like, she broke her ankle when she first like got to the farm, and it's never been mended, so it's just like very broken, and that's like a big thing throughout the book. And then a pregnancy test, also quite important to the story. Actually, I think I'm gonna put the book there, so we'll just move this to here. And I gave this 5 stars. This restored my faith a little bit in thrillers, because I've been really, like, maybe I actually don't like thrillers anymore because they've all been so bad lately, but this restored my faith. And I gave it 5 stars, and I absolutely loved it. It was horrifying. It was like kind of a fucked up book to be like, oh my god, I loved it. But like, it took my breath away. It was so eerie. And yeah, it was wonderful at what it was doing. And then I have the Mystery Deco in Antique Gold that I will be just sprinkling in here. I'm sorry about the rain. I know it has gotten louder, and if it's distracting, feel free to X out. I understand. I've just been so excited to do my book journal. Like, I prepared all this stuff like on Friday, I think, and I've just been waiting for Monday to do it, and then the weather's being bad, and I've had to stop a million times, and it's just been one thing after another today. But that'll be the last thing to burn. And then I listened to an audiobook exclusive Lucinda Berry book called One of Our Own, and we've got 3 quotes for this. Another page of 3. Running out of size box 6 is really not working out for me, but I'm literally about to go order just like a bazillion boxes from SPC whenever I'm done with this. And we've got our note, and then this one's, I'm just gonna do this, and like, I should have cut this on the line, but I'm a silly girl. So we'll just do this. I'm just gonna like makeshift this, like a box that this will fit on. You know what I'm saying? Because what's done is done. I accidentally just almost ripped the script in half, the quote. Okay, this one says it's easier to consider being wrong about him than it was to consider being wrong about my own son. It's always somebody's son, and mothers protect their children at all costs, but what if your child was the one others needed protection from? Oh my god. Chills. Chills, chills, chills. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this in. This is like an emergency call center. Technically, she works for like the suicide hotline, but I didn't really like have anything to put in for that. And there involves something happening at a house party, but basically our main girl, this is also narrated by AJ Cook, who plays JJ in Criminal Minds, and she did an amazing job. But basically she is a operator for the suicide hotline, and she gets a call from a girl, and she breaks the rules and gives the girl her personal phone number, which she does get in trouble for, but like she just had to. She just couldn't let her go, and so it's a novella. It's pretty short. I think the audiobook's like 4 hours, and it's like about her trying to help this girl. And the girl was essayed at a party, and she was drugged, and they took pictures of her while she was like all disordered, or videos of her, and mocked her, and now she wants to unalive herself, basically. So I have the mystery thriller deco here in confetti silver. So we're just gonna pop this in, and it's about her trying to figure out what actually happened at this party. Who was involved, because the girl goes to the same school as her son, and she's like, well, what if I know the people, and blah blah blah. And it was just really good, and I loved it. I love Lucinda Berry. You can tell like she actually has a degree in psychology, and you can tell in her books, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm not really that sophisticated of a reader, but I feel like you can really tell that she actually knows what she's talking about in regards to psychology. So I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the book. I mean, like, it's a very fucked up book, but like I had a hell of a time listening to it, and I do very much so recommend. Okay, 3 more books to go. The first one here is, we will pop this in this, like the lesser of the two, the one I liked least of these 3. I gave it 2 stars, and I'm unhauling it. And Miss Alyssa Cole has 1 more shot, basically, because I gave one of her books 4 stars, and then this one I gave only 2 stars, and it was called When No One Is Watching, and it's like a thriller about gentrification, and it was just like, it could have made such like an impact, and it didn't. So I gave it 2 stars. And the quote, though, I love this, is, I need you to channel the confidence of a mediocre white man. That's hilarious. But the only thing I have for this is like this New York City apartment. It takes place in New York City. Pop that in. Pop the book in. And then I will pop in my 2-star rating. I bet you're going to be really shocked to hear that I have the mystery thriller deco. I'm sure you're shocked. This one's in dark blue. But yeah, like I said, I think that this book had the like power to like be impactful, and it fell flat in my opinion. My friend that I was buddy reading, whenever I say my friend I'm buddy reading with, it's always my friend Christy. She, I think, DNF'd this book, and just like looked up what happened. And yeah, I was just like not a fan of it, and I'm sad because her other book I freaking was obsessed with. But you can't win them all, you know what I'm saying? So that's that, and then we're gonna end with 2 4-stars before we get into the monthly stats, you know? The next next one is going to be the Happily Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez, and I loved this book. This is the second book in the Friend Zone series. I liked the first book better. This book, I like thought it was going to be really sad, and like it was sad, but like it could have been sadder. This is not the box I'm looking for. I need version 1. Not. I was like, why does this not fit even remotely? How did I get the sizing that wrong? It's because I sized it for this box, which it fits beautifully in. So the quote I have is, my happiness wasn't always the real thing. Most of the time it was a fabricated, forced version that cracked around the edges if examined closely enough. But it was the choice. That was the accomplishment. Basically, the main character has suffered a great loss and she's having a hard time finding joy and happiness in life, really. Also getting confused as to, I need to pull up my Google Doc to remember what like of my stickers goes with which book, because they had some overlapping themes. So I have the dog, because dogs were a big thing in here. We have got the Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever, specifically that type of dog, cooking, and sunflowers. Okay. So we've got this girly pop that's doing some cooking because she's blonde, and basically she used to cook all the time. She had like a cooking blog and she has stopped cooking due to her like loss. She has no joy in it anymore. And she's like getting her groove back, baby. Sorry about the garbage trucks. I'm really a mess right now. And we can just pull in the pepperoni if I can get him out. Here he is. And then I did give this 4 stars. I thought I would give this book 5 stars. So like saying 4 stars is disappointing sounds so dramatic, and it very much so is. But I just expected it to be 5 stars, so I was a little bit sad that it was a 4, but they can't all be 5s. Okie dokie, and this is in my continuing series video as well as the next one. When no one is watching, I don't remember which video that's in. I'm sorry about that. We've got the dog deco in Pixie Magenta again. Sorry about the trash. I feel like I'm simply just trash right now, and so it's just fitting with the vibes of this video being chaos. Why does the trash come at 6 p.m.? I don't know, but it does apparently. My neighbor in his obnoxious vehicle. We're almost done, guys. If you're still here, drop a dog emoji. You know what I want you to do if you're still here? I was watching a YouTube video and I loved this. She wanted everybody to comment down below, because we live in a world where so much is wrapped up in our physical appearance. I want you to place a comment down below telling me one positive thing about you that has nothing to do with your appearance, because your appearance is literally the least interesting thing about you. For me, I would say something about me, something positive about me is that I am very hardworking. I think that's a very positive trait of mine. So I want to hear something positive about you that does not have to do with your body. Then the last thing we have is The Enemy by Sarah Adams, and it says, some of us used to live through the healing, some of us need to live through the healing rather than talk through it. And this is book 2 in The Enemy and the Match duology by Mrs. Sarah Adams. And actually I have kind of like a lot of stuff for this one, so works out that we have infinite amount of space. Got a little donut shop there because the main character owns a gourmet donut restaurant, which is so fun if you ask me. And I personally liked the first book better, but I buddy read this with Christy and she liked this one better than the first book. So really is just like a matter of personal preference. Taco Bell was talked about a lot, and so were Michelin stars. So there's that, and then I will just throw this in here. And I'll just do some like deco down at the bottom. Pop this in to give her our 4 stars. And I'm hoping I didn't forget anything in terms of my, what's it called? In terms of my stats, because I feel like every month so far this year, I've fucked it up in one way or another. So she is a baker and he is a Michelin star chef. So I thought that the chef sheet would be perfect, and then I'm doing pink hollow because this book is pink, and my favorite color is technically black, but like in terms of foil, we love the pinks. Pinks are so fun. Black foil is not fun. It's quite lame, actually. It's very boring. So, just tossing this chefing shit up in here and some of the deco bits. But I think this is so cute. I freaking love my book journal. This is like one of the highlights. Like, I'm so excited when the month ends because I get to do another book journal spread. And I appreciate it if you're making it through this video. I know it's really long. I don't think I'll ever read this many books in 1 month, except for that I have a toxic trait of trying to one-up myself. And so I'm going to try, even though like I know it's impossible, but I'm toxic. What can I say? Okay, so we're just gonna do a little bit of this and a little bit of this so we can have like both of the colors. And then I'm gonna just toss in a bunch of this just mixed deco to fill this in. It's just like a blank space. So we started on page 50 and we're on page 73. It's gonna take us like about 25 pages for this 1 month. Maybe I will run out of space. Remember when I said I'm not worried about it? Maybe I'm slightly worried. But I'm so excited for this journal to look like an accordion at the end of the year, not being able to close because it's just so full of all the books that I read. It's gonna be so satisfying. This is also prime reading weather, so I cannot wait to be done with this so I can curl up with a book. But let's move in to our stats, baby. And this is where I always have to like flip back because I always forget how I do it. Okay. April wrapped. We start with genres. April wrapped. We'll pop in a divider. And some flowers. Perfect. And then a wee bit of deco. It's been like going to rain for like 2 weeks now, and so it's like very much so we need the rain, but like really this is when it had to come down. So annoying. Okay, so we are gonna start with our genres, which is really annoying to me that I just bent my page a little bit. Go back to the end of March. Okay, then I just did a little bit of this deco, some hearts, and there's like 4 different pieces, so we'll do a heart and a star, and then we'll do like a thingy and a diamond. Okay. And so here are all my genres. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm gonna get these in. And I'm gonna try to fit them all on one page. Whether that happens, I don't know. There's 10 on here, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So we're just gonna do our best, and if it goes to the next page, it goes to the next page. I'm not gonna kill myself over it like I usually do. This is just like a fun thing for me because I'm very like statistic driven. Like I think statistics are very interesting. And like this was a pretty bad like average rating month, and so like seeing what that is compared to like what genres I'm reading the most of is very interesting. And then I'm just a curious cat when it comes to wanting to know if like there's, at the end of the year, I'm very intrigued to learn whether or not there is like a trend as to like where most of the books I read take place. So I think that will be fun info as like an info lover to have. Okay, I think that we're gonna have to probably move on to the second page, which I am not happy about, but it is what it is. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, the last two will go on the next page, which is fine. Yeah. I'm sorry for bending the book and stuff. I'm sure that's not pleasant to look at all. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop them, all of the titles in, and then we will go in and add in the, like, fill in the bubbles. We've got fiction, we've got romance, we've got YA, dystopian, and you will see that like some books I'm going to tag as multiple genres, like Shatter Me, for example, is YA dystopian. It can also be romance. I'm not going to classify it as that, but you know what I mean. Memoir, middle grade, magical realism. That couldn't be more diagonal if I tried. Anthology, never thought that would be joining in my collection of things in a year. Fantasy, graphic novel, horror, short story, mystery, and historical. Honestly, it's a good thing it went on the other page. You want to know why? Because I took the time to make these extra dividers. So, getting the opportunity to really use them, stunning, beautiful, wonderful. This is so fun with the rainbow. I just love. Okay. So, we're going to go. Should I do this? Then we can do the fill-in at the same time? I think I might. I think I might like this as like a way to do it. So we're going to do the same thing here with locations. There's a lot of locations. I will let that be known. It's definitely going on multiple pages, okay? Go with a thingy and a heart, and then we'll do a star and a diamond. Star and a diamond. So cute. Okay, so how many locations do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So this is 20. We'll start with this, and then we will pull 4 more. But yeah, I think at the end of the year we're gonna find the statistics to be, I'll probably do like a full like end of year stats. What the fuck was that video? But I think we will find at the end of the year that most books take place in California or New York. I feel like every single month, without fail, those show up as options, whereas other things don't show up every month, you know what I'm saying? So, I do have a feeling that it will be one of those as like our most visited places. And then places like Antarctica, I don't think we're gonna be really, I would love, if you guys know of any books that take place in Antarctica, let me know, because if I won the lottery, the first thing I would do is book an Antarctica cruise. I just like am never gonna be in like the tax bracket that can afford that, because that trip's like 20 grand. Okay, and then we'll just continue onward onto this page for the rest of our locations. So funny because I'm gonna have one left on the one tracker page because I think there's 5 and I need 4 because there's 24. Maybe I miscounted. Maybe it'll end up I'll be meeting with the 25th. That would be lovely. And then we'll just decorate the bottom. There was no DNFs this month, which is good. The thing is, I think that with audiobooks, my average rating is becoming lower because I'm not DNFing them. I'm like, well, I'm just listening to it kind of passively while I'm working. So like, I'll just see the story through. So I mean, like, I've already spent all this time listening to it. I might as well just see it through. Whereas if I'm reading it physically, I'm like, no, it's gotta go. So I do think that is interesting as well. Probably didn't need to have them so clumped together, and I probably could have just made this fill the whole page, but I didn't. So that's, oh my god, I put the extra one on here. We didn't need that one. My bad. Okay. Let's go through the line. North Dakota, New York. Sorry. A fictional land somewhere that's not real. Idaho. You know, interesting. California. Yep, that in New York always show up. Arkansas. Kentucky. Massachusetts. Mexico. Australia. Washington. Texas. England. Georgia. Unknown. Like it never says one way or the other, but it's not fictional. Singapore. Vermont. Whoa. Florida. Antarctica. Michigan. North Carolina. Wisconsin. Minnesota. And South Carolina. Okay, isn't that crazy looking? Then we will just do one of these. And we're just gonna do our little decorative fun real quick. Toss in these flowers and these flowers. And yeah, why not? We'll add another divider at the bottom for fun. Because I just love the pastel rainbow is just so cute. And then I'm just gonna throw in a bunch of deco. We start with the big pieces and then we'll move in to the smaller ones. this is so cute. I'm literally gonna take a video and send this to like a couple of my friends when I'm done, and I can't wait to show it off because it's coming out so good. And then we'll toss in some of this deco just for this literal decorative showcase at the bottom. That's really cute. Okay. So we'll get into the fill-in. Okay. So Fun for the Whole Family takes place in, it's fiction. Wait. The genre is fiction and it takes place in North Dakota. Boom. The next book, Say You Remember Me. It's a romance that takes place in New York. Boom. Okay. Shatter Me is both YA and dystopian, and it takes place in a fictional location. Such Quiet Girls is a thriller that takes place in Idaho. After that, we just read a memoir, John Stamos' book, If You Would Have Told Me, and it takes place primarily in California, followed by Jill Duggar, that was also a memoir, and that one took place in Arkansas for the most part. Then we did Beg, Borrow, Steal, which was a romance, and it took place in Kentucky. In Rome, Kentucky, baby. Then we had Olivetti, which is middle grade magical realism. Yeah, middle grade and magical realism. And this one takes place in California as well. It's always fun getting like having more than one in a spot. All Is Found, the Frozen anthology, is an anthology and fantasy. And it takes place somewhere fictional in Arendelle. Then Sad Nuggie is a graphic novel, and it's fictional. Then we had The 5-Star Weekend it's classified as romance. I'm gonna classify it as fiction if I'm being honest with you. There's nothing really romantic about it. And it is in Massachusetts. Every Last Fear is a thriller. Gives more mystery to me, but that's what they classify it as. And it takes place in both New York and in Mexico. Combo platter. Then Tangled Up in You is a romance that takes place in Washington. We have The Good Sister, that is a thriller that takes place in Australia. Oh, I accidentally skipped that one. Okay. Then we have The Wives is a thriller that takes place in Washington as well. We have another Washington. The Wall of Winnipeg in Me is romance, and it takes place in Texas. The Maidens is a thriller that takes place in England. Oh my god, the rainbow is so fun. Then we have The Clinic, which is a thriller that takes place in California. I think this is like as far out as I've ever had anything be, and I love it. It looks so good. Okay. And then we have Jackknife, which was a horror short story. And the location is unknown, I believe. Yeah, unknown. It's like, where does Georgia come in? I found it. It's correct. Then we read The Indigo Room, which was also unknown. It never mentions it. And it is a horror short story. Then we did The Blanks, which is horror short story, and it specifies that it takes place on Jekyll Island, which is in Georgia. I'm gonna have to get my markers to check out. Well, we'll see if there's any new states. I'm not actually sure that there is. Then we have Night and Day in Misery. That is unknown. And it's a horror short story, believe it or not. I'm sure you're shocked. And then we have The Letterbox, which is also horror short story. So we read those all back to back to back. And this one actually does have where it takes place, which is New York. Of course, more New York. Okie dokie. Okay, I just went and grabbed the markers. Okay, so after the letter slot, we got Crazy Rich Asians, which is a romance that takes place in Singapore. Followed by Tell Me What You Did, which takes place in Vermont and is a thriller. Then we had Sociopath, which was a memoir that takes place in California and in Florida. So we'll do California, Florida. Then we did Wild Dark Shore, which takes place in Antarctica, and it is classified as fiction and mystery. Fiction and mystery. Then we did By Any Other Name, which is historical, and this one takes place in New York and in England. So New York, England. Then we had The Lonely Hearts Book Club, which is fiction, and it takes place in Idaho. 2 Idahos, what the heck? Okay. Then Mallerie is horror, and that takes place in Michigan. Oh my god, I thought we were gonna get out of the blue trap here, but I guess not. In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife is gonna take place in North Carolina. And it is a thriller. Yeah, thriller. Then we have The Favorites, which is fiction/romance. Fiction and romance. And this takes place primarily in California. Then we have The Last Thing to Burn, which is a thriller that takes place in England. Then we have One of Us Knows, which is a thriller that takes place in Wisconsin. Which is followed by When No One Is Watching, which is a thriller that takes place in New York. in New York. And then we have the Happy Ever After playlist is romance. And this one takes place in Minnesota and Australia. Minnesota and Australia. Then we have The Enemy, which is a romance that takes place in South Carolina. Okay, that's all of our statistics. Look at that. Doesn't that look so satisfying? Oh my god. I just love it. I'm just obsessed. So now I just need to pull up a good old United States map, because as an American, I don't know where all the states are, to check to see if we have anything new that we can color in. And we have to see if we have any of these missing letters. And then we will be done. Okay. North Dakota, New York, no, fictional doesn't matter. Idaho, we've got it. California, we've got it. Arkansas, we have it. Kentucky, where is Kentucky? It's this one that looks like a fried chicken. That's what Chris always tells me. So we can color in Kentucky. We'll do it as fluorescent coral red, sure. It's not very fluorescent, but it's fine. Okay, Kentucky. That's a new one. One new one's good. Massachusetts is this. We can definitely fill that in, and we will do it like orange of some sort. Okay. Two new ones. We live, laugh, love it. Mexico, Australia, don't need it. Washington, have it. Texas, England, doesn't count. Georgia. We don't have Georgia. That's Georgia. What color would look good here? Maybe a pink of something? Some sort of pink might be cute for Georgia. I mean, it's too close to another orange. Otherwise, I would have obviously done it peach. But hey. Georgia. Vermont. We don't have Vermont. We can do that. Do it like a purple color. Not this, because it's like looks like nothing. Okay, Vermont, check. Florida, yeah. Michigan, I don't know where the fuck that is. That's Michigan, done. North Carolina, done. Where's Wisconsin? This is Wisconsin. Okay, we don't have that. That's a cool one to add. Do like a lime green. I guess that's part of Michigan, only I don't know what color I colored that in with. So just gonna have to do our best. That matches pretty good. Okay, that's fine. That's part of Michigan. So Wisconsin, Minnesota, that's done. And then South Carolina is that. So we can color her in as well. Do her like red because it's hot there. Okay, we're like actually killing it on the states. Check, check, check. And we just have to check for the couple of letters of the alphabet that we're missing. Okay, F. E, F, nope, don't need it. S, do not need it. S is so popular. Another S, another S. I, we already have I. C, we have it. O, Olivetti, we've got one. Ooh. love to see it. It's gonna be yellowish gold and then black in the middle. A lot of these books are mainly black, so. O is kind of a rare one, so I'm excited to have that done. Got one crossed off. B, A, F, E. No, we need like the end of the alphabet. G, T, M, W. The wall of Winnipeg and me. Heck yeah, gamer. Heck yeah, gamer. I'm gonna do the middle, like dark blue, and then we'll do a medium blue for like the rest. That's exciting. Whenever you're like a couple months in, you're kind of just like excited if you're able to fill in something after the month is over. So the fact that we got 2 letters. Also, I'm not like super serious about this. If I get to the end of the year and I don't have them all, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm a failure. Absolutely not the vibes. I, B, N, L, C, T, no, S, no, still no. W, Wild Dark Shore, we had 2 W's. Okay. M, I, F, L, O, another O, 3 W's. H, E, and that's everything. Okay, that is everything, friends. That is the final thing. I'm gonna flip through it real quick, show you a final recap of my April reads. I think it came out so stunning, so amazing. I'm loving it. I think it came out great. And that's everything, friends. Thank you so much for sticking through this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!